Welcome back to another episode of the Talk Travel podcast. Today, joining me is Claire from Riviera Travel, who will be taking us through Riviera's expansive selection of tours to Spain. Claire, once again, thank you so much for giving up your time today to give us your insight into Spain as a destination. I just wanted to start things off by kind of asking about your background within the industry and your connection to Spain as well as a destination.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's really nice to be here. I have worked in travel for a really long time. You won't believe this, but I initially started out working on campsites, which is a great way to get into the industry, mainly in France, a bit in Germany. That was a long time ago now. Then I started out by becoming a tour manager myself. So to gain that experience of what it's like to be with a group, looking after people. Mainly, I was going around France and Belgium and Holland, Ireland, Czech Republic, that sort of thing. And then I came into the operations side of things to get an idea how that was all running. Worked for some other companies as well, to get that sort of broader experience. And then I started back after being a tour manager with Riviera Travel in 2015. So yeah, coming up for 10 years with Riviera, and honestly, they're a really great company to work for. So I really enjoy my experience with them and always learning. I think that's the great thing about the job. It's really stimulating, putting the products together, and also learning from what clients want, getting feedback from clients, from tour managers, that sort of thing as well, so we can carry on creating the ideal tours for people, really. That's in a very small nutshell, basically what I do.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely worthwhile expertise in today, going through Spain as a destination. Just on that as well, why do you think Spain is such a unique travel destination in your opinion?
Oh, yeah. The thing about Spain, you just think about it as, it's just Spain, it's one country, but it's so much more than that. Each region is completely different. So you can't just say, oh, I've been to Spain. You really have to keep going back to explore the different regions of it. And I think that's what I find so fascinating from the south, from Andalusia, which is probably my favorite part. But then up into the north, into the Basque Country, it's a like a different place again. They're all united as Spain. Um, but the culture can be different from area to area. The food is different from area to area. Wherever you go, it's really great. There's something for everybody. So I think that for me, it's really one of my favourite places to go to. So not just for work, but for my own travelling experiences as well. Yeah, there's always something different, something new around the corner. So you can have been there many, many times and still discover something new, I think. That's a really good reason to go and just sort of immerse yourself in the culture of the country. It's a fascinating place, from whether you want to just sit, relax on the beach, or you want to do something a bit more cultural. There's something for absolutely everybody, I would say, and I think that's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, I mean, myself included at times, have thought kind of Spain as a beach destination and kind of a place you go for the sun, but obviously there is that as well, but there's so much more to it as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic destination, absolutely. So what would you say are the must-see destinations in Spain with Riviera Travel?
This is like trying to choose my favorite child. It's a difficult question to ask this. If you've never really been to Spain, or perhaps you've only been to a resort destination, and stayed on the beach mainly, then I think to start off, I'm going to say two different places, and this is included in I'm going to call it our flagship tour, which was one of the original tours we've been operating for about 30 years now, which is Classical Spain. You have to go to Seville and you have to go to Granada. So Seville, it's quintessentially Spanish. There's a little festival going on. You might wander around the corner and see a holy procession when they're marching, these huge icons around. They're so heavy, you can't imagine how people are picking them up, but they do. Not only that, they go from bar to bar, meeting friends, having a drink, and carrying this huge, maybe it's a statue of the Virgin Mary or something like that. So Seville, really great for that. And then moving on to Granada, you have to go to the Alhambra. It's iconic. There's nothing else like it. Missing out a couple of things that you do on the way as well, like the Mezquita and Cordoba. So I don't know if you know this. I'm trying not to go into too much detail, but just before the Middle Ages, the southern part of Spain, El Andalus, as it was called by the Moors from North Africa, came into Spain, conquered that part, and ruled for 800 years. And this has an influence now on these amazing buildings like the Alhambra, but on the food and culture of the people as well. So that's what makes that a little bit different, I'd say. So definitely go to Andalusia if you haven't been. And explore that, and we'll help you do that because you're always accompanied by a local tour manager, and where there are tours included, you get a local guide who kind of, well, they're from the area, they know all about the history, but they're also going to tell you about modern culture, what you can do, what you can eat, where you can go as well. So you really get under the surface of the country, I would say, like that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And so with those regions that you've just mentioned, would you say there's any kind of optimal times to go visit months of the year?
So it depends on how you are with different temperatures. So for me, I'm not great when it's really, really hot. I'll be honest. If I'm doing all my sightseeing, because I can't sit still very well, I'm always wanting to do something. I really prefer May and September as places go, but even April would be good as well. I'd say that if you're wanting to make the most of your sightseeing, honestly, there's something to be seen all year round. It's just that perhaps in the hotter months might want to relax a little bit more. But having said that, if you go into these historical places, because sometimes in the old town that the streets are actually quite narrow, very quirky, you can walk in the shade if you want to and explore these things. You just need more frequent stops for tapas and a drink, I would say. But that's a good reason to do it.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think with me having very Irish skin, I think I definitely have to pick the right month. Absolutely. So with Riviera's kind of range of Spanish tours, would you say they cater for a range of different travelers? So could solo people do it? And
Absolutely, Adam, absolutely. We've got quite a diverse range of tours, so I'll just talk you through it briefly. So we have what we call our classic tours. I've just been talking about classic Spain, but the group size there is limited to a maximum of 36 people. Then we have what we call our signature range, and they will have similar itineraries, but they're smaller groups. Average group size is about 22 people. Maximum group size would be 25 people. So that means that you can do different things that a larger group wouldn't be able to do, and we include some things in there, whether it's a meal out, a lovely aperitif with a view, or one of the ones that we do on our signature Classic Spain is we go to a flamenco evening where you're really up close to the dancers. It's really amazing. So we have that. We also do cater for solo travellers as well. So on all our tours, you can book as a solo traveller, but we have some specific solo products as well across all the range of Europe and worldwide, but just concentrating on Spain. Then we do have the Classic Spain for solo travellers. So that's 1 night near Mijas, 3 nights in Seville and 2 nights in Granada. And the tour managers know that sometimes it might be their first time traveling on their own. Maybe that the people's partners are unable to come with them or just don't want to do that kind of tour, and they will travel, and they'll make sure that nobody feels left out or on their own at all, unless they want to be. Sometimes people just want to go and relax and do their own thing. That's absolutely fine, but there's no need to be nervous traveling on your own with a Riviera travel tour. We'll make sure you're really looked after. And then for people that have maybe been to these places before on one of the tours, we're offering longer tours. We're calling these grand itineraries. So they're on average between 11 and 12 nights. So we're going to some different places as well in 2026. That's really exciting news. I'll tell you in a second. But the idea behind the grand tours is it's a slower pace of travel. You're really getting more of an in-depth experience of the country as well, and seeing things that perhaps you wouldn't go to on your own. We'll take you there again. We'll have the local guides as well to give you their knowledge and experience, and so you really feel like you've visited somewhere special. So we have a longer version of the Andalusia tour. We've got that this year as well. But for next year, it's going to stay 3 nights in Malaga, 3 nights in Seville, 3 nights in Granada, and there's some extra bits and pieces in there as well, which are all very exciting. We have a grand tour of Spain's hidden gems, we're calling that one. So that's Girona, which is a lovely little city, really nice to have a wander around there. Zaragoza, I went there last year for the first time, and I was really impressed. Really beautiful city. And Valencia, which again is a real gem of a place to go to in Spain. And visiting these places, you get the contrast between the different types of countrysides, different mountains, different hills. It's honestly really beautiful. So no napping on the coach between places, because you won't want to miss what you're seeing. And then we've got another one which starts in Malaga. I don't know if you've been to Malaga before. That's a really vibrant place. Most people go into the airport and just go on to their destination, but Malaga is fantastic. Really vibrant, lots to do, great food, I have to say as well. So we start off there, we go on to Cadiz. On the way there, we will visit Gibraltar as well, which is so strange. It's so British. Go there, see an old phone box, see British food on this, basically a rock, but it has to be seen to be believed if you've not been there before. And then on to Cadiz, which is really one of Spain's most ancient cities, sort of built on this rocky promontory. It can't get any bigger because it's the sea either side. That was a fascinating place to go to. Jerez as well we'll visit. And then we cross the border into Portugal, actually, to the southern coast of Portugal. I know we're not here to talk about Portugal, but it's a really beautiful place to visit as well, the southern parts of Portugal itself. So we've got those coming up, and we continue to add different things to our program as well. And what we do is we ask people to give us feedback on things, and we improve it all the time if we need to. We find little gems, make sure people can understand the food, the culture of the food in different regions, or what there is to drink as well. That whole experience of going out for a tapas, having a drink, having the tapas of the day as well. So we'll include a lot of little gems like that as well. So we'll tell you where you need to go to give you the confidence to then explore on your own in your free time as well. That's the idea behind them. And I think they're really great products. I'm not just saying that because that's my department. I think that there's just so much Spain has to offer for everybody. And, it's a really, really welcoming country.
If someone was listening to this and they'd never visited Spain before and they were kind of considering as a first timer, would you offer them what sort of advice would you offer a first timer going to Spain? And are there any kind of common travel mistakes people make?
Well, it's an interesting question. So on one of our tours, I think there's just book on one and we'll take care of everything. So what we'll do is make sure you've got all the information before you go. But yeah, if the first time to anywhere, my advice to kind of get that experience is to slow yourself down, So have that coffee somewhere in the morning in a cafe, watch the world go by, treat yourself to a pastry. You've got a day's exploring to do, so have that, watch the world go by a bit, soak it up. And it's the same, I would say, towards the end of the day, before you're thinking about your evening meal. Spanish do eat later than we do, so you might want a snack ahead of that. Definitely nip into a local bar and have a drink, whether it's a local wine. Ask them what they recommend. This is a great way to explore and have the tapas with it. And just, I would say as well, wherever you are, if you pop your head into the bar and listen, see if there's a lot of Spanish being spoken, have a drink there. I went with my colleague Carmen last year when we were in Zaragoza, and we found this tiny bar. I mean, it was almost the size of a box room, so tiny. And we thought, oh dear, what's this place? Is it, we went in, and it had such a huge selection of wine. It was amazing. Starting price is €2.50 a glass, serving with the tapas. And we had just the best experience talking to locals, getting their recommendations of what to try next, what was a local tapas. And I think if you go with an open mind, being prepared to try new things, you'll get a lot out of it. But having said that, going anywhere for the first time can be nerve-wracking for people, and I totally understand that. So that's why we have your expert tour manager with you as well, just to kind of give you guidance if you need it, just to help you uncover the bits so you don't miss things while you are there. And other than that, my other bit of advice for a first-time traveller, what would I say? Have a little think before you go of the things you might want to visit when you are there, so you can plan in the time, and try not to do too much. Take your time doing the things that you want to do as well, because there's very much a thing, I think, of people want to tick things off the list. And sometimes it means that you miss out on the experiences by just taking it a little bit more slowly. Does that make sense? And it's not
Absolutely.
actual practical advice so much. Oh, the other thing I would say for any traveller is always take a power bank for your phone, because if you're taking lots of photographs, it's a horrible thing to run out of power before you can go back to the hotel and recharge it, just as a practical note.
Yeah, I think I've definitely been caught out by that before going abroad. So some good advice there. Do you personally have any kind of particularly memorable experiences visiting Spain, or have you had any kind of feedback from customers who have had really interesting stories that you would like to share?
Personal experiences. I think the thing that really started off my love affair with Spain was when I was a child, and I went abroad for the first time when I was 11, and we hadn't had those kind of holidays before. And I didn't know that what I was looking at was olive trees. But as soon as I understood what they were, I think I've always had this association with them in Spain. And that whole, I didn't even know what olive oil was at that point or anything like that. So I think probably my experiences all revolve around seeing these things for the first time, going to mention the Alhambra before, but the first time having that, seeing just how the different things people have for breakfast and evening meal before. And we've definitely had guests on our tours that have experienced some things as well. There's been a few marriage proposals, for example,
Wow.
while we're up there, and people celebrating anniversaries as well. And I think some of I'm not going to mention any names, but the thing that really moved me the most was somebody who had booked this holiday for his wife. He'd never taken responsibility for making any of the holiday decisions before, and he wanted to do something really, really special for their 50-year wedding anniversary. And they went and they watched the sunset going down by the Alhambra, because there's a viewing bit that you can see. And And who said romance was dead? It was just a really, really sweet thing to do. Sorry, lads. Yeah, I'm being a bit smushy there, but I just thought that was absolutely lovely. And, I think the feedback we get from some people sometimes, and people in general are very well travelled now, more than, we used to be. But it's that we really felt like we saw the real Spain, away from the beaches. There's nothing wrong with the beaches. It's lovely to swim in the sea and all that. But if you want a bit more to your experience, and I think for me personally, another experience, I've just remembered this now, you're making me think about it. I was on holiday with my mum and my stepdad and brother and sister. We went to northern Spain, which is another place we have a tour, to the Basque Country. And we stayed in a tiny little village, and we were invited to the village's little fiesta, which was, beautiful. Lots of food, lots of dancing, singing, local kind of folk song things. It was great. I don't think anyone went to bed before about 6 o'clock in the morning, even the kids. And then we were going home 2 days after that. And when we were just getting ready to leave, the villagers came with 2 big boxes of lemons, which they gave us just as nice to meet you, have these lemons. And I just thought that was amazing and so welcoming as well. So it was a lovely thing. There's too many experiences to recount. I've just got to say that you have to go and explore it for yourself, the different regions. If art is your thing, go on the Madrid and Salamanca tour, visit the Prado Museum in Madrid, go to El Escorial, which was a palace built in the golden age of Spain, and just see the kind of finery inside there. If food is your thing, you are safe in any region to go and try that. There will be something for everybody. Beautiful wine, sherry in Jerez. That's somewhere that we're going to go next year as well. Andalusian horses as well that you might see in the countryside as well. Really beautiful. And then you kind of got the backdrop in Granada of the Sierra Nevada mountains behind you now, with the Alhambra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, at different times of the year, they might have snow on the top. So there can be flowers in Granada and snow in the background. It's really beautiful. So, yeah, any time of the year is something for everybody.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for your insight once again. Really interesting to hear your opinions and your advice as well, for anyone wanting to travel. So yeah, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. If you'd like to find out more about the latest Riviera travel offers, you can call us free on 0800 707 6229 to speak to one of our travel experts. And you can also keep track of our upcoming episodes on YouTube and any good streaming platforms as well. But once again, thank you very much, Claire, for your time.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much.